around and advance up the bar. Stop just 1 or 2 revolutions past. We're going to tuck in this tape and put the plug in now in case there's a problem. We'll know it. Plug goes inside. Make sure it's fully secure. If it needs a little extra help, use a mallet. Overlap and advance up the bar, but make sure that the adhesive is not laying on the tape you just put down, but is on the unfinished, clean handlebar, advancing as you go. You always pull with tension, never relaxing, overlapping approximately halfway as we go, keeping our marks symmetrical. Once you get to the curve, you still maintain tension and inspect both sides as you go. Back up before you proceed and make a mistake. We don't want to get all the way up to the bar and find we have a gap way down below. We've continued the wrap and now we've reached the lever body, and there's a few different techniques to get us past this. The simplest way is simply to wrap close to the lever body, continue past it, and go on your way. This is going to leave a slight gap showing once the rubber hood's rolled back. We are going to have a slight gap. So that bothers some people, so we can place an extra piece of tape underneath, and that's going to cover that up. This technique is also not so good because it does not reverse the direction of wrap, and it puts the tape in a less advantageous direction on the tops. Another technique is called the figure 8. So if I back up the tape, notice I'm still maintaining tension there. We can peel a little adhesive off our covering tape. Tape goes along the back side of the body here. You want to place it and double check that we're not covering.
No, I'm just going to use it like it is.
This rubber hood has a small plug in it. It's going to be engaged in the body. It may end up covering that pocket. So here we're going to trim a little bit. So the figure 8 goes around, behind, over, and then it repeats. And finally, we're back here. I like this technique so much, it creates a very bulbous shape. A lot of the pattern tapes end up being very bulky here. This is a technique from older days when the tape was very thin. You could do a figure 8. so hard to restore the handlebar, especially not good if it's a carbon fiber bar. We now have a mark we can see in the tape. We're going to match that angle with our scissors. We're going to continue consistently, and it will match in. This one goes past, so we're going to trim so it finishes at the bottom. And as you can see, wrapping starting at the bottom. We're going to go in the same direction. We're going to pull snug and lay that down as we come around. 2 times at least. Back and forward. We like to end, if possible, under. We start at the bottom and we end at the bottom. That is a wrap on the wrap. Now let's look at some additional techniques. If the handlebar end plug is the type that secures in with a bolt, it can be installed first. We don't want to just start our tape square. It's going to end up with a bump on the bottom. We can actually start with our angle of our wrap, much like we did at the top. We're going to finish and cut right here is marking the angle that I want to trim. So I'm coming across this angle with the scissors, and that's going to give us our starting angle. It'll make a much cleaner start. Again, always at the bottom. We'll come around here. Now I advance here, much cleaner finish. A technique that's useful, especially the competitive cyclists, where crashing can happen. The crashing occurs is typically this side of the bar that gets ripped. So what we can do is take some plain old electrician's tape, PVC tape, and here I'm actually starting it backwards or inside out. This is the sticky side. The non-sticky side is against the bar. So I'm pulling snug and overlapping as I go. What we're going to do is provide a sticky surface that's going to hold the tape on the inside. If there is a bad rip, if there is a crash, the bar tape's not going to come completely unraveled. This is going to act effectively like fly tape. We've got the whole bar covered, just this lower section. Again, we're saying if there were to be a crash, the tape is sticking to it, it's not going to completely come undone. It's a bit of a safety precaution. It's a bad hit. White tape can be especially tricky to ensure and keep it clean as you can, sometimes wearing gloves. Here, we've wrapped it, and then we've also made our final cut where we like it. You don't want to put the trim tape on just yet, because we have to get this edge of whiteness there. So I'm going to back that off, take a permanent marker, and run across the inside edge. We're going to have a black edge that now shows. No one will know that it's actually just the edge of the tape. We start with the finished tape on the bottom, down,
Yes, please. Are you getting it?
pulling it snug.
Okay. Thank you.
Second pass, and then the inside edge, obviously use a marker, it's clean and consistent. Although we place the seam of finishing tape right on the bottom, the time to use these hand cliplets. So we're going to take a spoke and a lighter. We're going to tack weld just a
Huge Cloud's metallurgy.
You guys help me build a lock?
That's right, we did.
I locked it with the keys inside.
That is gonna take some metallurgy.
You said it. How soon can your technician get here?
We need remote system access.
And you. 1 sec. Hey, Jerry, call for you.
Hello?
Yeah, you're a bipedal simian now at a gravity of 9.8 FPS. Don't get any ideas.
So much mass. Sorry, you said the lock was. This is interesting. We don't sell this model double bonding.
I know. Did that to myself.
This is quality work.
Oh, thanks.
Of course, it does void the warranty.
What?
I'll need access to this whole thing. Might have to dig it all out. Is there a place where I could get tools and things for this?
A hardware store?
Yeah.
And you're not just stalling because you want to take this new body out for a sensory flight of fancy?
No. Remember, whole sub-basement dug out.
Should be a straight shot to 17. Just have to cut through the prison level. Hey, those weapons you used earlier to kill that raccoon?
Destroy the intruder.
Destroy the intruder. That's better. Can you use those whenever?
Not really. Just on things that threaten you, the house, or Rick.
So you can destroy things that are hurting me.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Threat nullified.
Here we go. There should be no shortage of threats in here. Thank fucking God. That was gonna suck.
Oh, I was fixing to have me a hootenanny like you wouldn't believe.
Grabbed your leg and screamed revenge.
No, all that build-up. I'm glad something happened.
Boy, I don't actually know what any means.
It's okay. We're almost there.
Where the fuck is that guy?
Dad, where's Jerry?
That's exactly what I'm wondering. That doesn't sound like a hardware store.
It is.
You let anyone do that? He gave us all the money he had.
Threat nullified.
Hey, how's your head?
The vision's getting pretty cloudy, but even I can see. You're almost free, Reese. Yes, we're getting you out of here.
Oh, that looks nice.
Good. That's your new home. Huh. Expected a different kind of catfish. Excuse me. Is there still forest around here?
Was it? Oh no, not since the god in the white coat. He gave our world the gift of metal and computer science. In return, we run his holy silo. Younger hogs resent our beauty. Can't say I blame them. If we just keep stagnating, maybe I'll do something worse. Haha.
Oh, wow, yeah, that guy's my grandpa. This is Reese. He works for him too. Password man.
Oh, I may be putting down roots here.
Please do. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm needed at a high-tech potato distillery.
Well, we did it, Reese. It's the first day of the rest of your life.
Before today, I was a two-factor authenticator with a vague southern affect. Now, I can be whatever I want. Thank you, Morty.
You're welcome, Reese. Wade with the current.
Before I do something else, fishing's boring.
Busy store. Plus, I had to run with weird legs. There
but you're the real deal.
Oh,
Probably doesn't mean anything.
yep.
Hey, Grandpa, did you turn the yard into a giant sinkhole when you dug out the sub-basement?
It's fine. It's just some tunnels.
Are the tunnels reinforced?
Don't overthink the tunnels. I have a handle on the tunnels.
How much longer is he gonna be dead for?
I like him.
Me too.
Summer just taught me what push-ups are.
I did. He's bugging nailing them.
Mom?
Oh, one more week.
What?
No, you're right. It was good getting to know you. Lessons.
Wait.
Morty, him leaving was your idea.
Oh, I have another idea.
Ah! Why do I taste rainbow wax?
Why do you know what that tastes like?
How's it feel?
As well as the last guy, but I'll fix that.
I'm glad you're getting to live on, Reese.
Getting a pretty sweet rig out of the deal.
I hope you have a good life out there. I love you.
I love how much matter you made. I know the difference in about this is there is a place called Skies and do not visit me there.
Oh,
What, you gonna keep sighing until I notice?
I'm just breathing.
He's alive, Morty. You're welcome. Ah, fucking Cox. Morty, toss me a flask. Learned my lesson. No more portal flasks. Morty, I can tell you're disgusted. But you're gonna be just like me. It's a disease, Morty. A genetic disease. It's already in you, Morty.
Hey, buddy. You good?
You, Morty, you little piece of shit. You think you're better than me, Morty? Yeah, but I'm gonna kill you. I'll kill you!
Hey guys, I'm Rex. I just moved in next door and I love Minecraft and skateboarding.
Wait, he's not.
Georgie boy! Oh, Morty, would you believe my unrelated friend Georgie boy wants to hang? Howdy, fellas! Georgie boy! Georgie boy! Georgie boy! Georgie boy!
Get out of here. Get out of here. Pookies. The boys are in the garage. Can we get rid of that box yet?
Soon.
I need an opinion, Pookie.
What's that? This one is cooler. This one looks more comfortable. Where are your bits go? But it says, I'm not the alone.
Big Beautiful Bill into law, which was terrible, to Colbert getting cancelled, which was terrible, to the Coldplay concert heard around the world, which was honestly kind of fun. But we're going to focus on developments concerning Jeffrey Epstein, once again voted horniest residents by Deepest Circle of Hell Quarterly. Very basically, 3 weeks ago, after repeatedly promising to release information on Epstein, the Trump administration abruptly announced no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted, and released a video it claimed disproved there was any foul play in his suicide. Though when a reporter pointed out a problem with that video, Trump's answer wasn't great.
Can you see why he was missing from the jailhouse suite on the next
Yeah, sure.
Hang on, could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and if you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas.
Okay, nothing about that is reassuring, from Trump suspiciously scrambling to change the subject to Marco Rubio quietly mourning the loss of his last shred of integrity, which, much like part of Epstein's prison video, seems to have disappeared. That glib dismissal understandably didn't go down well, especially given that Trump and his inner circle have been actively stoking this story. In February, conservative influencers were summoned to the White House and handed binders labelled Epstein Files Phase 1, which turned out to contain virtually no new material, despite their covers including the phrase, the most transparent administration in history, a claim which is not aging great. And Trump has been struggling to move past this as new revelations keep coming out, including a Wall Street Journal report about a gross letter that he allegedly wrote for a book for Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday.
The journal describes the letter as several lines of typewritten text and a hand-drawn outline of a naked woman. The future president's signature is a squiggly Donald below her waist. Trump allegedly signed off with the words, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret."
Okay, there is a lot there. First, may every day be another wonderful secret is absolutely what would be inside a Hallmark card if they had a subcategory called Birthday for Prolific Sex Traffickers. Second, the squiggly dollars below her waist was, in the journal's words, mimicking pubic hair, which is obviously gross, but also, and I know this isn't the point, why the fuck is this Trump's signature? Donald Trump has 11 letters, not 400 M's. His signature looks less like pubes and more like the polygraph results when he's asked if he's ever been friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I have to tell you, Trump sued the Journal for defamation and strongly denied writing that letter, which is understandable given it allegedly contains the line, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey." He also tried to brush it off by claiming, "I don't draw pictures," though as people quickly pointed out, he very much does do that. He basically spent this week desperately trying to draw people's attention anywhere else. He threatened the Washington Commander Stadium didn't, unless they revert to their old name, posted an inexplicable 3-minute highlight reel of old internet clips like a woman grabbing a snake with her bare hands and various jet ski tricks, and accused Obama of treason for trying to steal the 2016 election. And in case it wasn't obvious, that was a flagrant attempt to deflect attention from the Epstein story. Trump basically admitted it.
At the White House, the president has urged fellow Republicans to help change the subject.
Every time they give you a question that's not appropriate, just say, "Oh, by the way, Obama cheated on the election."
Yeah, it's that easy, and if they keep asking, just say, "Hillary shot JFK, Rosie O'Donnell did 9/11, and Nancy Pelosi fucked her back, that's how we got COVID, no further questions." And while distraction is usually one of Trump's greatest weapons, it doesn't seem to be working here. Even his sudden dumping of thousands of files related to MLK's assassination didn't do it, given King's daughter responded by posting this image captioned, "Now do the Epstein files," which is excellent. In terms of internet clapbacks, that is up there with Wendy's asking if we can send Katy Perry back to space, and I don't say that lightly. And some of the harshest criticism is actually coming from Trump's most fervent supporters. Even the QAnon shaman posted, "Fuck this stupid piece of shit." And once you've lost dipshit Daniel Boone here, you are in trouble. And it's understandable why Trump's struggling to get even his own base to take his word for it that there is nothing to see here, because to do so, you essentially have to believe everything we've learned about Trump over the years is irrelevant or sheer coincidence, that all Trump did was repeatedly host Epstein at Mar-a-Lago, have him at his wedding, hang out with him at Victoria's Secret fashion shows, get listed as a passenger on his plane 8 times, joke with him at a party while pointing out hot women and saying something into his ear that got the most grotesque smile in the history of human expressions. Tell a reporter, I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy. He likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side, and allegedly hosts a calendar girl competition where, other than the 24 or so women flown in to provide the entertainment, the only guests were him and Jeffrey Epstein. You'd also have to forget about Trump bragging about his ability to grab women's genitals and claiming he could go backstage in his beauty pageants while women were getting dressed, something he was accused of doing by 5 Miss Teen USA contestants. And once remarking of his own infant daughter Tiffany that she's got marvelous legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this yet, but time will tell. Beyond that, though, there's nothing there. Except for a jury finding him liable for sexual abuse, but other than that, there's nothing to see. And I should note, Trump denies the Epstein letter, the Calendar Girls contest, and the claims of walking in on Miss Teen USA contestants changing. He also insists he broke off ties with Epstein before he was convicted of soliciting sex from a minor, and he's repeatedly denied being told his name was in the Epstein files, despite reports Pam Bondi told him months ago that his name was in there. And I guess, ideally, Trump would have Jeffrey Epstein on tape vehemently denying their connection. Fortunately, what he's got instead is this moment in Epstein's 2010 deposition.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment right as well.
Yeah, no, great. If the answer's no, just say that. Instead, Epstein started listing amendments like he was ordering off the value menu. I'll have the number 5, 6, 14, 10, 12, 3, and whichever else means I don't have to break bro code. Look, who knows where we go from here? On Thursday, the Deputy AG, Todd Blanche, Trump's former personal attorney, went to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell, and it's not hard to imagine someone serving a 20-year sentence that only one man can commute, coming up with whatever story serves his interest. But even if that happens, I'm not sure it'll stop the questions, because people aren't letting this go. When DHS and the White House posted this video announcing the TSA's new shoes on policy, comments on it included, "So cool, what about the Epstein files?" and "TSA needs to check your shoes, they might find the Epstein files there." And this White House post about Trump's AI initiatives got comments like, "Where's the list, Donny?" and "Captain Cankles, where's the list?" And look, maybe those files show nothing more than that Trump and Epstein are 2 creeps who enjoyed one another's company. Do I personally think that's possible? Though I'd like to answer that question, I think I'll plead the 4th, 12th, and 22nd Amendments. But even if that's the case, and Trump still eventually ends up consumed by a conspiracy monster he cynically helped create and now can't control, then at least that'll be a sliver of something that's frankly been in short supply in this whole Epstein story, and that is actual justice. And now, this.
And now, it's the summer of everything.
In a new way, some companies are passing on costs to shoppers, and of course, it's got a catchy name.
Yeah, we're rolling it out this morning. The summer of sneakflation.
It's the summer of superheroes.
You could call it the summer of the water main break. It's the summer of the silk scarf.
The summer of booty.
It is the summer of sharks. Step aside, sharks. This is the summer of fireflies.
The summer of bugs.
It's the summer of the dog.
It is the summer of meow in Jefferson County. Brace yourselves for a summer of millennial mania.
Let's go, girls.
Don't you guys feel like this is the summer of courtroom dramas?
Is this really going to be the summer of stable coin?
You could call it the summer of Pedro.
This might go down as the summer of La Boo Boo.
This is the summer of Grandma Core.
Plus, summer of love.
This is not the summer of love.
Moving on. Our main story tonight concerns gangs, something Tampa police once warned teenagers about, like this.
Think it's cool to be a baller, shot caller? Want to end up like this? Join a gang, and chances are you will. The choice is yours, so make the right choice. Open your eyes and wake up before it's too late.
Holy shit! Take it down 1,000 notches. Because when you show a dead body pop up like a jack-in-the-box, you're not implying implying joining a gang will kill you, you're implying it'll turn you into a flesh-eating zombie. And if that is true, gangs are the least of your problems right now, Tampa. Gangs have long been a target of law enforcement, and this story concerns a commonly used tool police have developed to thwart them, gang databases. Basically, lists the police keep of people they say are involved in gangs. You might remember, early this year, the government used them as a justification to deport immigrants, most famously in the case of Kilmer Abrego Garcia, whose deportation, they later admitted, was a mistake. Before Trump doubled down on this Microsoft Paint bullshit being actual evidence, he initially talked about the case like this.
You're talking about Abrego Garcia, is that the one? Yeah. He's an illegal alien MS-13 gang member and foreign terrorist. This comes out of the State Department and very legitimate sources. I mean, I assume I'm just giving you what they handed to me, but this was supposed to be certified stuff.
Oh, was it? Okay, well, I'm glad it's certified stuff. That's reassuring. But you know, you don't always have to read what they hand you, right? If they handed you Mein Kampf, would you read it out loud? You know, I take that back. That's a terrible example. You wouldn't just read it, you do a fun little riff on it in the briefing room. But it is worth talking about those legitimate sources, because one of the few pieces of evidence authorities have produced to support those MS-13 allegations is Abrego Garcia's 2019 entry into something called GangNet, a regional gang database. Basically, back in 2019, cops apparently approached Abrego Garcia and 3 others at a Home Depot in Maryland, filled out a form identifying them as gang members, and submitted it to GangNet. Officers apparently observed he was wearing a Chicago Bulls hat and a hoodie with rolls of money covering the eyes, ears, and mouth of the president, saying they know such clothing to be indicative of the Hispanic gang culture, and that wearing the Chicago Bulls hat represents that they're a member in good standing with MS-13, which is already a little bit weird, because it implies that somehow, if you're not up to date on your monthly MS-13 dues, your Bulls hat privileges get revoked. The cop filling out that form also cited a past proven and reliable source of information who supposedly corroborated that Abrego Garcia was an active member of MS-13, though you should know that cop was suspended just a week later, pled guilty to misconduct on an unrelated issue, and was ultimately fired. Nevertheless, that gang allegation meant Abrego Garcia was denied bail and spent months locked up in ICE detention. In fact, it later emerged that he's the guy in this local news piece from 2020, speaking anonymously about his experience.
I spoke with an immigrant who was looking for work outside of this Home Depot in March 2019. He tells me he was falsely labeled as a gang member and was detained for almost 8 months. I don't know why they noticed me. Perhaps because of my Latino race, they labeled me as a gang member, which I have never been, and I have no criminal record or in the United States.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. A person's clothing shouldn't be criteria for locking them up for 8 months. As we all know, the worst consequence of fashion choices should be getting roasted by teens on TikTok. Maddie from Georgia has a right to her opinions, but that doesn't mean that they don't hurt. Hey Maddie, fuck you. Congratulations on your Sweet 16, but fuck you. And notably, 2 separate federal judges have looked at the government's evidence and found it unconvincing, with one on Wednesday writing that for the court to find that Abrego is a member of or in affiliation with MS-13 would border on fanciful. And his isn't the only story that brings these databases into question. The Trump administration also deported this Venezuelan man, Francisco Garcia Cacique, to the El Salvadoran prison Sacot, claiming he's a member of Tren de Aragua, something that he and his family strongly deny. And while the government hasn't supplied any evidence for that claim, reporters discovered a Texas gang database does list him as a member of that gang, but that listing has some pretty big red flags on it, including that that photo is of someone else entirely. Those are 2 whole different genres of men. And it was only after this was pointed out that authorities removed his entry from Texas's database. And at that point, it's not as trustworthy as those ads at the bottom of a website with headlines like, "You'll never believe what Angela Bassett looks like as a child," paired with a photo of Little Miss Sunshine. Guys, I don't think that's her. The fact is, around the country, many local and state police departments keep these databases, sometimes without disclosing them, despite investigations repeatedly finding them to be notoriously inconsistent and opaque, riddled with questionable entries and errors, and rife with unreliable intelligence. So, given all of that, tonight, let's talk about gang databases, how people end up on them, and the massive problems they can cause. But before we start, let's just briefly discuss what a gang is. The word can conjure up media representations of tight, coordinated groups whose members are all engaged in sophisticated criminal members. Unfortunately, none of that nuance is on display in these databases, and depending where you live, the reasons to be added to one can be worryingly broad, as this defense attorney explains.
It is a database entirely maintained by law enforcement that has no scrutiny from any other branch of government or from any citizen organization or from anybody whatsoever. They control this database completely. And if they want you in this database, they can put you in this database.
So we don't know what they're doing or how they're doing it.
Nope. As far as you know, you could be in that database, I could be in that database.
Well, that is not ideal. Because in terms of lists you don't want to find your name on, a police gang database seems like one of the worst, right above the Epstein client list, which, luckily remember, doesn't exist, and I can't believe anyone's still talking about it. The criteria to be added to a gang database are typically unrelated to criminal conduct and more focused on how a person looks, acts, and whom they associate with. Some places even have a point system where certain actions or identifiers get added up to qualify you for inclusion.
The Boston Police Department uses a point system for identifying gang members and associates. For example, if you're in a group photo or have contact with a gang member, that's 2 points. If you use gang paraphernalia or other identifiers, that'll earn you 4 points. 6 points and you're considered a gang associate. 10 points and you're a verified gang member.
Yeah, but that evidence seems pretty weak. Just being in one group photo with someone doesn't automatically mean you're meaningfully linked. There's a reason we don't call the people in this photo the Kevin Spacey gang. But it's not just photos and paraphernalia. Being in a known gang location or wearing gang colours can also land you in a database, but that can get very subjective. As at one point, the colours the NYPD considered to be associated with various gangs were black, gold, yellow, red, purple, green, blue, white, brown, khaki, grey, orange, and lime green. That's like a thoroughly vetted list of gang signifiers, and more like someone naming what colours the Gap factory for Eversoft's Shrunken Crewneck t-shirt comes in. Also, for the record, lime green is just a terrible gang colour. Nobody looks good in lime green except maybe Jessica Chastain once. Now, as for associating with known gang members, that can mean merely talking to an alleged member, being seen walking next to them, or simply having the status of friends on a social media platform. In some places, even being the victim of alleged gang violence counts towards getting someone on the database. In Boston, that can earn you 8 of the 10 points required. And the thing is, the evidence can get even thinner, as in many places, the sole criteria can be self-admission. And just watch as the NYPD's then chief of detectives gets asked a fairly obvious follow-up about that.
People self-admit to us every day in New York City. So self-admission will get you in the criminal group database.
So that the police officer, patrol officer perhaps asks, are you in a gang? And people just willingly answer that question?
Yeah, I would, that is not generally what happens.
Right. Of course it isn't. No one's going to voluntarily tell a cop that they're in a gang unless they just got kicked in the head by a police horse. What self-admission can actually mean is we found something on your social media that we've decided constitutes you admitting to being in a gang. But that can include things like online posts simply using the word gang. In one instance, a teenager who posted a picture with a friend with the caption, "Happy Birthday Gang," was added to a database with self-admission listed as one of the reasons. And if the bar is that low, anything is basically a confession. A pic of you holding a diploma with the caption, "Killed it. Congratulations, Brad, but guess what? Now you're wanted for murder." And while so far I've been saying anyone can be added to these lists, those who end up on them are heavily people of colour. In DC, their database at one point had almost 2,000 names on it, and only one individual was white. One in total. Do you know how few lists there are with only one white guy on them? It's basically this database and the cast of Hamilton. That is it. And police can cast a pretty wide net when it comes to flagging people as potential gang members. A 2023 audit of the NYPD's database found they designated entire public housing buildings as gang locations. And in California, this man was approached by police in what they apparently considered a non-gang location, which was just a park in South Central LA.
They jump out, they come over there to us, "Hey, you guys, we got a call that y'all want to drink in and you're loud." And I said, "Well, there's nothing on the table, so what do you mean drinking?"
He says officers interviewed them, asked them to hand over their IDs, and raise their shirts to show any tattoos.
You can have a tattoo and not be a gang member.
About a week later,
I got a letter in the mail saying that I'm a gang member. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Wow, indeed. Having a tattoo clearly doesn't mean you're in a gang, and it definitely doesn't mean you committed a crime. Lots of people have them for all sorts of reasons, like Adam Levine, who once explained his shark tattoo by saying, I've always had a strange fascination with sharks. I actually think they're the most fascinating creatures on Earth. I guess the tattoo had something to do with that. And who here can disagree? Adam Levine treating his body like a 10-year-old sticker book doesn't mean he's guilty of a crime. Now, DMing an Instagram model, I may need to see the booty, feels pretty close to one, but that is different, isn't it? And it turns out that man is not only not a gang member, he literally worked in gang intervention, trying to prevent kids from joining them and make communities safer. And he has